Okay.
Yeah,
Elka bought a house next to you.
so we bought a house next to us, and my husband worked there in a factory, and I worked there too a few hours part time because I have a baby. Once I left my baby by Urka too, and we were very good friends. She calls me that I'm her sister, and very good friends. And but she's older than I am, but still very good friends. And little by little, so then they moved here, and he was a partner, Urka's husband, with the helpers, the rich builders. So my husband said, "You know what? You come here too." I cried. I didn't want to go, but I went. My mother says, "With your husband, you go till the end of the world." And we came here, and he also worked for the helpers, and he was a very, very small partner. One day he walked out of the office. A truck came in and killed him. So that was my coming here. And that's it, and I stayed already here. Didn't go anyplace.
Did you have to work?
Yes. I worked lately, they have the yeshiva, and they have for the girls, the bruyas, just girls. So I worked there, I was the secretary to the principal. And I took my son. I drove, of course, Clara Kramer, because of Clara Kramer, I'm driving, because she insisted that I learn. But my head was in the cemetery, you know how many times I failed? But I made it. Then I drove my son here to the yeshiva, and even took Sima's son also to yeshiva. I remember first time I drove, I took him. So I figured she let me go, take the boys. It's not far from here. You can walk here on Shabbos. We used to go to the big shield to walk to the shul. We walked there, and so I walked there for Mrs. Newman, and then somebody had a child couldn't pay tuition, so she worked in the office, and they let me go. I thought I'll go crazy. So I went to the Y, I helped us in the Y, even the yeshiva felt they serve lunch, so I helped lunch without pay, But I worked there and shouldn't sit home. And then I took my son and sent my son home from school. And that's it.
So, who are who are your
Best
who is your
friends.
support network? Are the survivors your support network?
The survivors? No. Very little I get from Germany.
No, no, no. I'm talking about friends.
Friends, yes. The survivors mostly.
Who are your circle of friends?
Urka, my sister, Sima, and then this one is Seal. Her name is Seal, Brooklyn, and I have a lot of friends. No family. Just my kids.
And these are friends for 50 years?
Yes. She's from my town, but she wasn't my friend then because I was younger and she was older,
That's okay. Why do you think whenever I interview survivors they have circles of friends
Yes,
like you
yes.
do? Why do you think survivors are so close to each other?
Because we don't have families. You understand? We don't have families. People get together with their families and Yontif and Shabbos. Now, thank God, I go on Yontif to my kids, to my daughter, or my son, not my son.
Now, when survivors get together,
We get together.
what do you talk about?
We don't talk about concentration camp. We talk news, we talk other things. We talk about this friend and this friend. No good things, good things. We don't talk about concentration
You don't
camp.
talk about the war?
No.
Most people tell me they do.
No, we don't talk about the war at all. My husband absolutely didn't talk. And that's it. What else can I
Okay.
tell you?
Let me
But
see.
this really, that I lost my grandson.
Do they know? They don't know why.
It's some kind of I wrote down something. But who knows where it is? This is.
How do? Oh,
Pardon me?
come back. I have a few
Oh.
more questions.
No, it's not here. Some kind of sickness, but there's no cure for it. It didn't last long. Yeah. I wrote down someplace. It didn't last long. All the doctors.
How long ago did this happen?
Pesach, Erev Pesach is going to be 2 years. 20 years, and you should see what everybody. It was on television, and all the rabbis, and but everybody talks about him. I didn't know that he was such a learner, such a good boy. I took away the pictures because I cannot look at. Very good. David, his name was David also. David Chaim, because his name was after my husband, and Chaim, that means living. So they, David, and they gave him the name Chaim, life.
Couple more questions.
Yeah, you can ask me a lot.
In the summers, did you ever go away as a group, like to the Catskills?
Not as a group, not since my husband is gone.
Before that,
Yes, we used to go.
where did you go?
Come on. They show on television always the what how many
Who'd you
degrees.
go with? How about that?
Well, Sima Brent, this one that just called, she went. Monticello and around there
Okay.
we used to go.
For the whole summer?
No,
Just for a couple of weeks?
just for a few weeks, and my husband used to go home to work.
Right.
For Friday he used to came over, but in August he always had vacation. So but 3 weeks we together with the children, and since then I didn't go anyplace. No, I went to Israel. Yes, I went to Israel with my husband once or twice. Then after my husband passed away, so I figured I'll take my son to Israel. Maybe it's gonna be better. Now it was worse.
Why is that?
Because places that we used to go together, he wasn't there. It wasn't good. 1983 I went to, my husband had cousins in Israel to a wedding there. And since then I didn't go. But my children, they go to yeshiva there, and vacation. The younger son, this one here, it was a year in yeshiva, and then he came back and he worked in Camp Morashah. Today he's coming back home, and the 26th he's going back for another year in yeshiva. I'm not so happy about it, but I don't have nothing to say. They're all very religious, but modern religious, not like the other ones that I call
No,
them
I understand.
parasites. That they sit, they don't do nothing, don't go to the army, don't work. Israel is a poor country, has to support them. Parasites. But they're religious, and they're good kids. And
So one last question.
yes,
If I would look at an album, like
Yeah.
a bar mitzvah album, would I see tables of survivors at this?
some yes.
Okay. Now, you have a stack of. Do you have any photographs from the DP camp you were in?
No.
No, when you got married, when you had a baby.
No.
I'm going to shut the tape and I'm going to thank you for talking to me.
Yeah, you're welcome.